Hello, you're listening to Lazy Gal Podcast hosted by Sage Kanate. Let's get into it. So, today's episode 19th, is the last episode of season 1 of the Lazy Gal Podcast. So, today's episode is about doing a Sunday reset and how do I do that? And how do we do that together? So, one of the best things about a new week is that it's a new week and you set the goals for that week and you decide what your intentions are for that week. And my favorite time to do that is Sundays. And now that February has 2 Mondays where I'm off, it's kind of been messing up my mojo. And I realized how important it was to actually, do a Sunday reset instead of just making it be Monday or just kind of being a bit more lazy because it's a 3-day weekend. So the three things that I use for a Sunday reset is not Notion, Google Apple Calendar. I use Apple Calendar, Google Keep, and I also use sometimes Notion, but most likely just these two. And of course, I look at like my school calendar, like Canvas and stuff, and plan accordingly. But the main 2 points of planning I use is Apple Calendar and Google Keep. And the reason for this is because if I get too many applications, like I'm using Notion, I'm using a digital planner, I'm using a physical planner, whatever, I just get so overwhelmed with all the things I'm supposed to do, all the stuff that I'm supposed to use. And slowly, I stop using them one by one. And I kind of just don't have a planning system anymore. And obviously, that's not good. So that's why I stick to my main two, Apple Calendar and Google Keep. So I recently started using Google Keep because I would just write my dailies on my Notion, like just a page. But then I realized that if I want to plan a bit ahead of the week, it was harder to, or just because Notion, what I would do is I would have a page and I would just have like a table kind of, but I just wouldn't update it because not only did it take a lot of time for it to get running, especially on school Wi-Fi or when I didn't have that much access to data offline, whatever. It just took a lot of work to do that. But for Google Keep, I just create a note for each day of the week. And usually my days of the week look similar. Like I have tutoring these days, I have to work out these days, whatever. So keeping that in check, I can have everything in one place. For example, my meal plan for the week is already in Google Keep. However, for Notion, I would have to create more pages and remember to update those pages. And when I'm already so busy doing that throughout the week is hard, especially because I don't know all the things I'm going to be working on Sunday. And ones that we'll learn about a new project that's due, some homework that's due. So being able to also do it quick and also be able to do it on the go is really important for me, which is why I've been liking Google Keep a lot more. Let me get my phone so I can show you guys what exactly I do on Google Keep. So, of course, accessibility is really important to me on many levels. Just being able to do it offline, being able to do it when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm just walking to class, when I'm walking here or there, being able to update whatever I want to. That's really important to me. And the second one is affordability. Both Google Keep and Apple Calendar are free. The next thing is customizability. For Apple Calendar, I really like the colors. I'm gonna be honest with you, I like the colors. I don't know if I can screen record on here, but what you can do is change your own colors up on Apple Calendar. So I have like a light pastel color going on. And I also have imported calendars. So for Canvas, I import the calendar directly. So I don't have to update it every 2 minutes whenever I get a new assignment. It does that itself. Same for Notion. So for Notion, I usually mainly use it for content planning now. And whenever I plan a new reel, whenever I plan a new post, it also shows up on my Apple Calendar. And when I took college courses, those also showed up on my Apple Calendar, a different color. Everything is good to go. I don't have to do anything. The only issue with integration of calendars from other sources, external sources, are you don't get to change the name. Whatever name it is on that calendar is on your thing. And I don't think color wise, I think you can change the color. But for me it was already like a nice light pastel blue and a nice light pastel green. So let me open up Google Calendar, Apple Calendar. The reason I say Google and Apple is because it is mainly derived from my Google Calendar. I just again integrate it into my Apple Calendar and now I can change it. So I have everything color coded. My workout is different color. My tutoring is different color. And if you guys want a full video on Apple Calendar and using that to plan your week, let me know. I can make a video on that. But that's just one half of it. The other one is Google Keep. And if you're on video podcast or YouTube, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Give me a second. So on my phone, this is what it looks like. It's just basically like a bunch of sticky notes or like tiles. So today's Tuesday, and I have like a checklist. And every Sunday, I don't erase the whole thing because every week I do the same thing. Do yoga every week. I pray every week. I have my tutoring sessions at the same time every week. So doing all that helps me stay on task, and it's a lot easier to do resetting. Sorry, like plan and reset for the week when half of your work is already done. Like I'm not inputting the same data again and again and again because that would be a hassle and it would probably be a lot worse for me in the long run. So keeping that in mind, when I use those two tools, I have heard people use Evernote, Google Calendar, a physical calendar. Of course, Notion is a big one. And there's so many online from Reddit. You can find them on Reddit. You can find them on Quora, public forums. I might have a blog post or two on planning, so I will link those down below. And I can also link the a link to Google Keep. It's available on iOS, web, um, you can download it on the Mac Store, but you can add it to as an app with the new update, which I'm doing right now on my Mac. And you can also use it on Androids. So using those two together is really helpful for me because for Apple Calendar, I can see my whole calendar out time by time. And I'm like, okay, so I need to do this, this, and this. And this is what my schedule looks like. And I also have notes, for example, what kids are coming for my tutoring, um, if there's any changes within this like meeting, whatever. And also because when I see it visually on a calendar, I know, okay, this is this date, and I can see it in my like I can know. But with Google Keep, if I just write it out loud, because everything's the same font, everything's the same thing, it just kind of glosses over my mind. So having these two side by side is really helpful. I also have like a wall calendar, a desk calendar, but I don't update that as often. Probably at the start of the month, which is more of a monthly reset and not really a weekly one, which is why I don't really consider that a part of my Sunday reset planning. Yeah, so using those two, how if I was someone new to planning, how if I never, did a Sunday reset before, or I have and it just didn't stick, it's not a humongous thing. I'm not like taking up days. For example, like when I used to bullet journal, that would take a while because I would create a new week, I would create a new month. This is real easy. It takes me maybe 10, 15 minutes max to get everything up and ready, sometimes even 5 minutes, because as the week goes on, I have created a system for myself so it's easier for me to update it as the day goes on. Or yes, the days go on. So um, so Sunday reset, for example, let's say I set 10 minutes alive apart. I open Apple Calendar up on my monitor, and I also have Google Keep open, and I go through my meal prep for the week, make sure that I change it out, update it. For example, like I have notes full of just meal plans or just meal prep. I go on like social media, whatever, blog posts, finding healthier stuff to eat, and I add that. So this way, every day I'm not like, oh my God, what should I make tomorrow? What should I make today? I'm already so stressed. But when I already know what I'm supposed to do, I'm allocating that energy for that specific reason and I get it done. So, for example, today I was going to bring a wrap to school. I knew that. So, yesterday I chopped up some tomatoes, cucumber, and lettuce, and some avocado, put it in a bowl. So, tomorrow, this morning, it's easier for me to just assemble the wrap. And this way, I'm not like, oh my God, what should I make today? And I waste 20 minutes on social media, whatever, online, internet, trying to find a recipe, and another 20 minutes getting everything ready to go. It's just so much stress and so much time that I save by knowing what I'm doing ahead of time, hence the meal prep. And I don't prep like for the whole week. I just write the recipe down so I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not like meal prep for me isn't bad. It's just that I have the time to leave 10, 15 minutes to work on cooking. And if I really don't, then I can scour some like a wrap, chopping up all the vegetables takes me 10 minutes, cleaning up maybe 5, 15 minutes, I'm ready to go. But if I do have time, I can make a protein pasta with shrimp or just chickpeas, whatever. But if I know I have time, 'cause every day I have the same schedule, literally every week. So based on those days, based on the days, let's say I'm going out, for example, I know that day I'm going out. I don't have a meal plan for that day. There's no point of doing all that and just not doing it if I know it's not going to happen. So being able to plan this helps you save your energy, your time, and also be aware of what's happening. So you're not always stressed. You're not always like, oh my God, what am I going to do next? And then, so the second thing I have is just my tutoring fees. Just have that list of them, and just knowing who's paying who, keeping track of that. This way, I'm not having like a gazillion different sheets, papers. Always, before I did that, I was always like, did they pay it? And I always get like the numbers wrong. But this way, like I know if I didn't check it off, I didn't do it. And that's really helped me with just getting all my stuff together and just having a better life because I'm more productive and I'm less stressed. Yeah. So I open it up, and usually I open Canvas up too. And they also import my Apple Calendar, but I like having Canvas up just to, uh, see the visuals of everything and make sure that everything is good to go. Especially because some of my assignments don't usually have due dates, so they don't show up on Apple Calendar, but I know that they're in Canvas, so I take a look at those, plan it out. So I always add those first. For example, if I have homework due on Thursday, I know it's due on Thursday, and I know it's not going to change. So the first things on my to-do list are always things that are repeatable every week. I always have a class on this day of the week. I always have this type of workout. I have this type of thing to do every single day, and it just repeats. So I just leave those on there. For example, I uncheck them, and then I look at Canvas and see what is for sure guaranteed 99% it's due this day. And I put those in. I have homework this day, I have a test this day, I have something to do this day, blah, blah. So I put those in. And usually on Sunday, not all my teachers update the assignments for the week. So on Monday or Tuesday, I see it, I add it. And it works like that. This way, it's a system. It just takes 5 seconds to copy paste the assignment in. If I don't do it that day, it's fine. It's on my Apple Calendar anyways, and I will get to adding it to my Google Keep because I also like the like happiness and like I think it's dopamine of like pressing the task button and you're like, okay, I did something. Time to move on to the next thing. But if I feel like I never accomplish anything day by day, I just feel more lethargic. I just feel worse and worse. But if I know that I'm accomplishing things and I'm appreciating and acknowledging the fact that I can do it and I did do it, I am more likely to work on things in the future. I've talked about this in so many podcast episodes, like my vision boards one, where you don't acknowledge, like, if you don't acknowledge past vision boards, you will never make a lot of uh, progress in your life because you were not even acknowledging your past successes, how you even realize that you're making future ones. Whole different topic. But that's where I kind of tie that whole thing in for my goals and just making sure that where was I going with this? Oh, did I have did I add stuff to my to-do lists? Anyway, so after I put my school assignments in, those are for sure. I'm trying to cycle sync where I do workouts for each phase of my period. So if I'm doing luteal, so there's 4 phases, but they're in 2 groups, follicular and luteal. I can do a whole new podcast episode on this. I'm building an app on this. I can talk about this for a long, long time. But if I'm on my early follicular, which is right after my period ends, I'm more energetic. And as the follicular goes on, sorry, wrong thing. The starting of follicular is very I'm kind of it's my period, so I'm relaxing. Some people feel better if they work out on their period, some don't. I personally, if I have time and I have to get better at doing yoga or doing some low energy workouts, but if I don't, I do not like make my feel I don't make myself feel worse because I know that my body's going through is working hard and it's doing something and I should let it rest. I think one week I did yoga for the whole week, and I really felt good. I just never continued, which I have to do. I'm trying to help push myself into doing that. And the second week after that is the next 7 days is where you're more high energy. So I like to incorporate more cardio. What I'm doing now for my luteal, there's 2 weeks between your first period and your second one where you're the most energetic. And in those 2 weeks is where I'm trying to do strength training. Let's say Monday I do arms, like 15, 20 minutes. That's how long like my 3 sets of 10 of like 5 workouts take. And I do 15 minutes jump rope. And I continue that. So Tuesday I fast, so I only do yoga. I don't do any cardio because I'm already I'm fasting. Wednesday's full cardio day, so I do like 30, 40 minutes of elliptical. Thursday's legs. I do 15 minutes of jump rope. That really gets me. And then Friday, on Friday, I literally try to motivate myself in working out, but I don't know what it is about Fridays that I never get in the gym. Like I never get in the room for doing it. And it's just Pilates. Like that day is Pilates, maybe 15 minutes jump rope. But I don't know for the life of me, I can't do it. And maybe I'll start going on walks. It's because I can convince myself to go on a walk much more than do Pilates, especially at the end of the day where I'm already tired. Saturday, Sunday, I'm trying to figure out something. I might just do jump rope or I might do, usually I'm busy anyways. But if I'm not, I try to go on a walk. So those are just like, having a plan. So I add those into my Google Keep and my calendar. Not my, yeah, my calendar is already there, but I refresh it. I change it up if I need to do. I need to. And then, so after that's in my Google Keep, that's like a 70-80% chance that I know it's there. And if I had to work out, I would do that. But sometimes life happens and I can't always work out, but it's on the list anyways. And then after that, it's just like simple things. For example, I have to make a phone call with someone, I have to order this thing, I have to clean my room, I have to clean my desk. Just itty bitty things I add on that I want to accomplish this week. I want to journal, let's say, 3 times this week. So I put Monday, Thursday, Friday. I want to call my grandparents. I put that Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. Um, there's things like that. And also, for example, packing my lunch for next day, making sure that's on my to do list so I don't forget. And I also have the dopamine of accomplishing that task. And I try to do some things for my lazy gal, like posting something or making content for that, which I know is going a bit slow, but I'm trying to figure out more content ideas. And I'm just busy with school a little bit. And of course, with my app, I've been trying to every day being like, okay, finish this part of the app, finish that part, study this part for calculus, whatever. And I'm really happy that second semester is kind of light for me for my senior year. So I'm just trying to chill and, try to finish up as much as I can. But I know when college starts this year and next year, and as it goes on, I will be a lot more busier. And having a really good productivity and planning technique now will really help me in the future. So, all in all, I just use two things, and that really helps me throughout my whole week. Before, if you follow me on Instagram, I just use my uh, Notion planner, and obviously, you can tell too many things at one time overwhelms me, and I just tend on not using any of them. I get burnt out. So really sticking to one or two plannings methods really helps, if especially if you're a beginner. So if you're a fan of physical planners, get one. Use a physical one, use Apple Calendar. This way you have the best of both worlds. And I find it tedious to write the same things in physical planner and the same things in digital planner like Notion. But with a calendar, it's a different format, so those two integrate well. The problem with me for physical planners is that they have like weight to my backpack and they just get crumpled. And just for me, it's just so much easier to use a digital planner. But for someone else, it might be easier to use a physical planner. And of course, we're all different in the ways that we perform and the ways that we handle ourselves. So just make sure whatever you do works for you and not just because you're trying to fit an aesthetic or you're trying to be like someone else when obviously that same method isn't working for you and you were just making your life worse. Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about for Sunday reset, making sure that you have a high priority goal, a low priority goal, and kind of like medium. Whatever you know is 100% chance of happening, you put that in there and then you check that throughout the week. My biggest mistake with planners is that I write them on Sunday and I literally do not look at them. But I always have Google Keep up and I always have Apple Calendar up in my computer. And I have learned from my mistakes of forgetting to submit something or forgetting to attend something. So I always make sure to check it off. Again, it creates that dopamine. And I also like to keep myself accountable. Sometimes I post on my story. Sometimes I just you just do things that keep you accountable. Have an accountability partner. You and your friend, let's say you share your productivity screenshots of the week, your lists, and you don't have to be at the end of the day, maybe every day, but when someone be like, hey, did you, accomplish what you wanted to do today? Especially if you have a busy day, you could do some of the tasks with them, or just post them on your story kind of and be like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do today. And just, going through your story again or texting your friend again, you're reminded of those goals and to update them. So these are just tips, especially if you're especially if you're new to resetting and just having a to-do list, a planner, and you're trying to try something new, I would suggest using just two platforms. Make sure that they fit whatever criteria you have, for example, affordability, being able to customize it, accessibility, usability. So, like, for example, if you're not someone who's a very techie person or someone who does not like a lot of things in their face, a big learning curve, uh probably Notion is would not be your first choice because there's so many things you can do with Notion. And I know on Pinterest, YouTube, whatever, it looks amazing. And Pinterest really, sorry, not Pinterest, and Notion really is a very helpful tool. It's just that if you use it for the first time and you just see so many things and all you have is a blank Google, like blank doc, you are going to be like, okay, how do I get there without being so stressed about it? And of course you can get a template from someone. But if you are someone who would rather have very simple user interface, I would suggest Google Keep or even your Notes app. You can just have the days of the week and input a checklist for that. So, you know, there are so many apps that range from one side of the spectrum to the other on so many different criteria. So do your research, figure out what works for you best. My Q&A for this episode will be, what productivity app do you like the most? So let me know how that goes. And if you have any questions, you can email me. I always have my socials and my links below, and I'll tag my email down below as well. And that's it for this podcast. So I just want to talk about the ending of season one. The actual podcast information is done. But I talked about this in my last episode, and I want to shorten my post lengths, like my episode lengths. So this one's around 20, but I do want to focus on having smaller episodes that are more digestible. And maybe once in a while, if I do find a topic that I enjoy talking about, I will increase the length of that episode to maybe 45 minutes. I don't like splitting my episodes just because I forget that I have them and I never post them. So the same thing happened in my How to Set Boundaries, part one, part two. There's no part two. So either I post a long one or I just shorten it up to a more digestible length. And I also realized that when I do post bigger episodes, longer episodes, especially those that are unscripted, I just say the same thing over and over again. And I'm just repeating myself when this could be a much shorter episode. And also, longer episodes sometimes don't have the same appeal to readers as shorter episodes because of our shorter attention spans thanks to social media. Anyways, so episode 19th will be the last episode of season 1. I do not know if season 2 will start out with a theme, a bang, whatever. Just stay tuned, and thank you for listening.